I think Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be announced. That's kind of my prediction. I know it's coming, but that game, it's by the CD Projekt Red guys, so I think that game's going to be massive. It's going to be a huge game if Witcher 3's got anything to go by.
They've already said
Imagine it.
it's going to be. They've already come out and said that it is going to be like a much bigger game than Witcher 3, and you know how big, The Witcher 3 was. I mean, that game was like huge.
Just be exciting to see what they've got in store for it.
I think it
sounds interesting.
It's interesting now that they have a mythology. Oh my! I've butchered that word. Like a fantasy game, kind of like Bethesda has Skyrim, and then Bethesda have got Fallout, which is kind of like a futuristic dystopian world, and CD Projekt Red now have Cyberpunk 2077, is it?
Yeah.
So it's funny how you've got these two developers both making massively open world games, and they both have very similar two distinct genres to choose from. Like imagine a world where we get a CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk, and then we get a Skyrim 2, not Skyrim 2, we'll get an Elder Scrolls 7? Are we on 7 now?
That'd be cool.
6.
Yeah, so it'll be Elder Scrolls 6, and then the year after Elder Scrolls 6, we'll get a Witcher 4. And imagine if we get that rota where those two guys are just chucking out incredible games like that. But because there's two of them doing it, we don't have to wait 3 years for the next Fallout or 4 years for the next Fallout.
It's pretty cool.
I think that kind of thing spells out that when you get people who are like team this or team that, they say this one's better than the other. Skyrim's better than Witcher or vice versa. It's kind of like, well, we're lucky we have both. Do you know what I mean? It should be something. It should be something that we celebrate, not sort of. But anyway, that's for another time because we're talking predictions here. What I think we will see as well that was I think we saw it at E3 last year was some more Crackdown footage.
Of course, I forgot about that.
I think what's great about Crackdown is, I think I played the original one. Oh, it came out a long time ago now, but on Xbox 360, and it was basically like a futuristic GTA, if you like, except you could do the whole running up buildings and that kind of thing. So when Crackdown 2 came out, I remember me and my mate were like so excited for it, and we both worked in a supermarket at the time, and we were like, right, after work, we're going to go and get Crackdown. Yeah, which can't be known for legal reasons. But we were like, right, after work, we're going to go and we're going to get Crackdown 2, and then we're going to go home and we're going to play it online. And it was garbage. Well, it wasn't garbage, but it wasn't. It didn't really live up to expectations because it was kind of like it's just basically Crackdown 1. And there was no real storyline to it, except you just sort of did sort of like side missions and challenges, and it was kind of like, this is a bit boring. Except you could maybe have a death match with your mate, and then it was like, oh, now I've climbed the tallest building. What else do I do? But having said that, this new Crackdown looks absolutely incredible. So I'm hoping we see more of that. I'm hoping we see more Cuphead. And yeah, no.
I know you're looking forward to Worms WMD as well, aren't you?
Oh well, yeah, Worms WMD. Yeah, I mean, I mean, do you think they'll show more? They'll show that at E3. I'd like to hope so.
Yeah, I'd like to hope so too.
I mean, it was announced.
Yeah, go on.
It was announced the other day that obviously we covered on the site that it will be getting a box release later this year, and it was one of those things where last year it was like, yes, we've got a Worms game that's gone back to its roots with things added that we'd love to have seen before. So you've got like buildings, tanks, helicopters, and you're just like, oh, this is just a dream for a Worms fan. But in terms of its actual release, we didn't really hear too much. So I don't know if it was me just being optimistic, but I played it back in September, and I was kind of like, oh, it won't be too long till this is out, and now it's May, So I'm hoping that I think it will release this year.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that E3 will, if it's at E3, it will hopefully reveal more.
Yeah. Well, if it's at A3, it'll be all finished, won't it? It'll just be showing it off.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some kind of release. I think the thing to think about E3 is that, from an Xbox point of view, is that last year was a very groundbreaking year for Xbox because since its slow start, it kind of had like a really strong E3, so it announced a lot of things like backwards compatibility in Oculus Rift. So I don't really know what to expect this year, because I wasn't expecting those kind of things to be announced last year, but it was like, oh my god! So I don't
It's a
really
good
know.
E3.
Yeah, it was a good E3 from for Xbox's point of view, and that's not just being biased. It was a really strong E3, so um, it'd be interesting to see
Well, yeah.
what we get this year, because I'm not expecting anything as groundbreaking as last year, but you never know, it could throw up a few surprises.
Yeah. Well, last year for us, for PlayStation, they kind of lost a bit of the steam. It felt like like a disappointing E3 from what we previously had when we were dropping all kinds of bombs on Xbox. But
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, last year's E3 was, yeah, PlayStation kind of lost that. And they announced like TV services like like PlayStation Now and stuff. But other than that,
it was
I don't know
more.
what to expect this year. Anyway, I'd like backwards compatibility.
But the thing is, with the PlayStation E3 last year, it was having the Xbox One having such a strong one. It was like, oh, we're remaking Final Fantasy VII, and
Yeah.
there's a Kickstarter for Shenmue 3, and it was right. I mean, even from like my point of view, from the Xbox side, even I was disappointed by
Yeah.
PlayStation's, because I was like, come on, you got to have more than that.
Just for like an added bonus as well. I know it's not going to happen, but a Demon Souls 2 would be pretty awesome. I know it's not going to happen, but
Well, that's what wish
that'd
lists
be
are,
pretty
though, aren't they? I
awesome.
mean,
Yeah, yeah. Well, Miyazaki said that he's working on a new game, but it's not going to be Souls, so
yeah, it
we'll
was
see.
weird. They said that it was the last Dark Souls game, but not the last Souls game. So
Well, yeah, we might see Demon Souls then.
we might get a completely different Souls game one day, or we might get a new Demon Souls. I don't know.
Mm.
So that was pretty much our whole two penneth on E3 this year. I'm guessing, unless anyone has got anything to add.
No, that was my...
You want me to talk about the Battlefield 1 trailer?
Oh god, I was gonna say Scott has been quiet. Scott's been quiet for about 7 minutes, and I've never known him to be quiet for 7 minutes, unless he's asleep, which is never. So
So you want me to talk about Battlefield trailer then? Yes? You want me to do it?
if you
want me to be that guy?
if you want to talk about the Battlefield trailer, then you go ahead and talk about the Battlefield trailer, because we're all
Okay.
looking forward to it. Let's face it.
Okay. Well, I'm guessing most people listening will have watched the Battlefield 1 trailer. I'm guessing everyone has heard about the whole COD's got this many dislikes, Battlefield's got this many likes, so I won't go
Team
into
COD.
that. So I
Here
won't
we
go
go.
into that. I just wanted to talk about the trailer, and that I'm really excited that we are getting a game that's going back to a time I'm interested in. It's the first time World War One has been done in any shooter, so a lot of people worried about how were they going to cover the whole mustard gas attacks, how were they going to cover the brutality of the war, and I just thought the trailer was excellent. The choice of music, the fact it was nice and short, it just got you interested, and then just kind of left you there. So we're really excited for E3, but I think the whole, you're going to have horses, you're going to have really primitive but brutal tanks, you're going to have biplanes, all in these massively open world maps that Battlefield creates. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how well they pull it off.
Absolutely. I think, from my point of view, is I don't really play many Battlefield games, but
Yeah, same here.
even when I was watching that trailer after it, I was like, oh my, like it looks absolutely fantastic. And the thing is, with World War One, it was such a brutal war as well. So I mean, it'll be good to see how that encapsulates in a video game. But the whole thing with like it was just showing like the different kind of like the different battles in going out throughout the war, the different locations and the plane, and then that bit with the Zeppelin at the end where he's just sort of looking up at it, and it's like the music's going on. It's like, oh, this is just,
yeah,
it looks absolutely fantastic.
Very excited.
It's going to be very over the top, isn't it?
Yeah, they need to make sure they get the balance between it's a Battlefield game, but then also, it should be its own thing. It shouldn't follow the standard Battlefield tropes of, just craziness. Like, if you watch videos of Battlefield Online, there's so many fascinating things you can do, but I do think they need to take it back to basics with this. And I'm hoping they're not going to do, because I did hear that it's based on an alternate history World War One, so it's not going to be historically accurate. And then I would worry that means, oh yeah, they had this machine gun in this time because it's an alternate history one. I'm hoping we don't get anything like that. And if we do, like a machine gun in World War One would have probably been a massively heavy thing where you've got to lug round 400 rounds of ammo in like a massive backpack and you're really slow. So, or if you're just that guy with the shovel running round, it'd be funny if you just have a shovel. Because you got to remember as well, loads of the people that went were just ordinary people that had never fought before. So I'm hoping it's not going to just feel like a Battlefield game where everyone feels like elite soldiers. It's just in a different
jump
setting.
Out of a helicopter, RPG it, and then get back to your helicopter.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like, they need to make sure it feels differently. It needs to feel like a brutal and terrifying place to be, but then we'll just be so intrigued to keep playing. So far, they've done everything right for me. It's just, we got to wait until we see more.
That kind of reminds me of like the Wolfenstein games, where it's it's an alternate history where the Nazis won the war, but it's set in like 1960s. But because the Nazis won the war, it meant that they had these like massive robots and all this like really, really advanced technology, to the point where you're thinking, well, if they had won the war, would we have really had? And then you think, nah. But then you kind of look over that kind of thing, because let's face it, Wolfenstein's just amazing.
Phenomenal, yeah. And they even recorded loads of Beatles songs in German, didn't they?
Yeah.
And you could get them as collectibles, where it's just like, yep, we won the war, so the Beatles still existed. They just sang everything in German because that's how things go.
Of all the things they could have added to change, there was like German Beatles songs. So I think that's us pretty much done for the week, but we will leave with a usual weekly tactical nuke. I don't know whose turn it is.
James.
Is it James's turn? Wow.
I've sold him
I'll
out.
give it a go.
He's going to have to do it now.
Well, I mean, he dropped the quantum break last week, didn't he? But we'll let him do it again.
Double nuke.
Okay. Double nuke. I'm hoping so. Here we go.
Tactical nuke incoming!
There's a Modern Warfare collection coming out, but it's only going to be available on PS3 and Xbox 360.
Tactical nuke incoming!
That's more like information nuke incoming, because it's true.
The disappointment.
It's so bad. But we won't slag COD off again. We'll save that for next week.
We've got a few more minutes actually. I mean, if you did want to discuss the whole, I did say that with this wouldn't be a COD bashing podcast, but I thought
They're doing it to themselves.
See, James is Mr. COD as well, so it's not just me.
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
just, I'm going to let James.
I'm a genuine fan. Like,
wait, just let me get
fanboy.
comfortable. Right, go on. What's wrong with it?
Like I'm a genuine fanboy as well, and I can't defend what they're doing. Like, everybody's like, come on, give us the Modern Warfare collection. So they say, right, we'll remaster COD 4, but you have to buy the Legacy Edition of Infinite Warfare. Then everyone's like, no, come on, we really want this collection. And they're like, oh, okay, you can have a collection, but on last gen, which nobody's going to play. It costs more than the other games pre-owned, which is stupid. And then,
I
man.
imagine that James is just sat there and he's slowly moulding into Scott. Like in his
No,
face,
but-
he's just like,
It's working.
No, it's disappointing from a fan's perspective because you're just seeing your franchise die. Like, Infinite
Well-
Warfare might be a good game, and COD 4 Remastered will be a good game. You know, like it's almost guaranteed. But they're putting stuff behind paywalls. They're giving us things that we've asked for, but on a generation that nobody plays anymore. So people are just going to play Infinite Warfare. I mean, I don't know what Activision are thinking because we just want classic COD, like on the new generation. Like what they're doing, messing about, makes no sense.
well, the thing is as well is, I know we're saying it's all about money, but well, surely they benefit financially from releasing that trilogy on the next
Yeah.
gen.
Yeah, no,
Surely.
yeah, definitely. They definitely benefit money-wise, but what that'd do, Jack, is it'd take away players from Infinite Warfare, and they don't want to do that. Like, people would be playing the Modern Warfare collection, and there'd be like 1,000 people on Infinite Warfare. So Activision don't want to do that, so they're hiding it on last gen. Well, that's my opinion anyway.
So like, if they release
so
Infinite
weird.
Warfare and Modern Warfare Remaster at the same time, they're worried they're going to split their own
Yeah,
audience. Like, they're
exactly.
going to have to fight off Battlefield anyway, and Titanfall 2 as well this year. So they don't want to split their own audience when they're already competing against other people.
Yeah.
So then to split their audience again by making a trilogy. And the thing is as well, if this trilogy came out on this gen, it would be a remaster, so then people wouldn't be buying Infinite Warfare for COD 4
Exactly.
Remastered, they'd just buy the trilogy. But
Yeah.
what I think they're going to do is, we're going to get a COD 4 Remaster this year. I wouldn't be surprised if, even though it's not Infinity Ward next year, it'll be Sledgehammer, I wouldn't be surprised if Activision bundle the next COD with Modern Warfare 2, and then maybe we'll see the next... because... They will do Modern Warfare 2 as well because that is equally as big, but they won't do it rushed because COD usually lasts a year, so they're not gonna release another COD in April as just a Modern
Yeah.
Warfare 2 remaster because again they're gonna split their audience. So
But
it
it's-
could be that the next 3 years we get Modern Warfare
Yeah.
trilogies bundled in with
It's just so shady and messy, innit? Like,
definitely.
I mean,
what are they thinking?
I'm completely neutral to the situation, and I don't understand it.
Exactly,
I
yeah.
don't understand. I mean,
I'm a fanboy and I don't understand it. It's
I used to play the original the World War II Call of Duty, and then I played the Modern Warfare games as well. And I'd love the opportunity to play the original Modern Warfare, but I'll be goddamned if I'm going on the old console, digging my
Exactly.
Xbox 360
That's why they've
out.
done it, though. That's
It's
why
not
they've done it.
happening. It's not
they want
happening.
To be fair,
money,
you-
but they don't want to take people away from Infinite Warfare. It's like,
I did this the other month. I went down to the shop, CEX, Kex, whatever you want to call it. I went down there. I bought Modern Warfare for I think it was like £4. So I bought Modern Warfare that morning. Came home, finished the story on Veteran, the achievements I hadn't got. Did the Mile High Club mission on Veteran because that was again an achievement I hadn't got. So I got all the achievements, and then I managed to take the game back to the shop the same day before closing time, and they just give you a £4 voucher. So then I got Modern Warfare 2. So again, like, you can get the Modern Warfare trilogy for literally £12 in the shop. Why you would spend £30 on a trilogy for a box that no one plays anymore?
It's
Like, no
depressing.
offense to people who are still on last gen, but you know, as a gaming society, they are trying to push the new gen. Like, they're not going to keep supporting last gen, otherwise people wouldn't be forced to move. Like, they want you to buy the new box so they can sell you new stuff. So it doesn't make any sense they're kind of going back. They're just trying to throw a bigger net as possible to grab everyone's money. Because
It's like-
what other excuse is it?
I don't know. I don't like what Activision's becoming. Like, they're losing the touch with their fan base so hard. Like you say, they're successfully splitting their own fan base, and it's like they don't know what to do. They're like, oh, Modern Warfare really sells good, so what we're going to do? We'll make a trilogy on last gen because we still want Infinite Warfare to do well. And it's like, well, no, just give us one or the other. And I don't. It's a tough time. Tough time to be a fan of COD.
That's all from James's. I'd just like to make clear that was all from James.
Yep.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'll let you off I'll let you off this week. I mean, God knows what we're going to be discussing next week. But we will have to leave it there, guys. So thanks for joining us. If everyone wants to log on to throwingdigitalsheep.com for the latest news, reviews, previews, etc. And we'll see you back on YouTube next week. So thanks for joining me, guys. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.